Hello. Even in this time of COVID, and I have continued to teach confirmation classes here, and I have to say it has been a whole lot of fun. And the reason why is because the kids that I've met here are just an incredible bunch. So right now we are doing some work in Bible stories. And knowing the abilities of these kids, I specifically asked them if they would do a project of their own choosing around a story of their own choosing to see what would happen. And right now we are having a conversation with Makenzie Stinson, who does a lot of stuff, but she paints a lot. So she has chosen paint as a way of expressing a story. And obviously, what we have here is a picture of the burning bush. It's one that is just a kind of intriguing, and the more I look at it, the more it sort of stands out. And it has been a whole lot of fun to consider that. So we have Makenzie here to answer a couple of questions about this. The first one I'd like to ask is, what was your favorite part of this entire project?
I have to say, my favorite part of the project was being able to paint and have it come alive by throwing in all my emotions that I built up over the day. The painting has a mix of joy, excitement, stress into it. It was so fun to watch it take shape and just grow into something pretty.
Very good. Why did you pick the story of the burning bush?
I love the idea of coming across a burning bush and having God call out to you from it. In Exodus chapter 3, verse 4, it shows that you can find God in everything, from the water that we drink to the propane that heats our stove. This story helps me remember that God is always with us, even if we don't know it.
Very good. Okay, now as I look at the story and one of the picture, one of the things that stands out to me is that it's known as a picture of a burning bush. And for me, a bush is something perhaps that only gets 3 or 4 feet high. It's oftentimes cut back. But you have painted here a tree. And it is one with a good sturdy trunk to it, and it's bright and green in the midst of the flame. And as one, of course, who is raised here in the Pacific Northwest, I love trees. Trees are really fun. Why did you paint this with a tree instead of a bush?
In Luke chapter 1, verse 37, it says, "For nothing is impossible with God." That is what I tried to showcase when I painted the green leaves. I wanted to show that even in the midst of being on fire, it could still thrive with God.
Yes, and one of the fun things, of course, I think we talked about this, is that God uses the image of a tree from even the Garden of Eden all the way through to the end of the Bible, at the end of Revelation, the tree of life, which of course is a part of the gift that God gives to us. Very good. Okay. As we know, Moses had no idea about Jesus, did not know who Jesus was going to be or what he was going to do, but obviously Moses knew that he was destined for something. Now, it took him a while to get to that, and the burning bush, or the burning tree, if we want to call it that, is a part of his story. Now, we look back at that, and we think of Moses generally in terms of a couple of things. One is that he was the great lawgiver who went up on Mount Sinai and brought down to the people of Israel the law or the Torah that gives guidance and meaning to God's people. But the other thing is that Moses was the one whom God used when God wanted to say to Pharaoh, "Let my people go." So Moses is the one who leads the people to freedom. Thinking about that, you have inserted a cross right where that flame is, which of course reminds us of Jesus. What is the connection that you were making at that point between the cross and the story of Moses?
Before I painted the cross, the canvas looked blank. I didn't really know why I even painted the burning bush in the first place. I knew something was missing, so I reread the verse probably 5 times. Then it dawned on me I didn't add anything in relation to God or Jesus. I had not, once I added the cross, it seemed as if God was just there with me the whole time, and it just seemed as if, like, when he just started talking to Moses and, like, I'm here, you can trust me. It's kind of when I started trying to make it look like that.
Very, very good. Anything else to add?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. I will say that now, and after listening to Makenzie, you know why I look so forward to our times together, even though, of course, we're and doing our classes at Zoom. This is actually the first time that we've had a chance to be together in 9 months, except for drive-through communion, when sometimes you bring your brother and your dogs and those things. But yes, so it's good to have you here. Thank you for coming. Thanks for your participation. And we will and do this again with my other student. And in the meantime, we'll find a place for this picture around the church building here, and so that you will be able to see it too. Thanks for checking in for just these few moments. We wish you well and God's blessing. Goodbye.